Hello and welcome to another Arkeys video and to a new 2 million credit time trial challenge on Gran Turismo 7. This time we are at Bathurst and we are in the Renault Clio V6 and we are on sports hard tires. And just for full transparency, this isn't exactly my first impressions since this time trial was known already before this morning. So I did a bit of practice last night just to get a feel for the car and also just trying to find some pace after my long break away from the game. And before we jump in, if you are enjoying the content, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. It is highly appreciated. Now let's jump into my first lap this morning. It's 9:02 a.m. The time trial has just opened a few minutes ago. I'm jumping in to sport mode and I'm going to pick up a couple of prizes. I managed to do the Red Bull Ring time trial and also the Crazy Roadster time trial at Trial Mountain. And we've got that new Mercedes time trial as well. There are so many time trials. Haven't done the high speed one yet, but now we're jumping into this one. And this is my first lap this morning. As already mentioned, I did some practice, although on comfort soft tires. Now we are on sports hard tires, but I'm using the end of that building as a brake reference for turn 1. I am missing the corners slightly. I need to get warmed up. This is my first bit of driving this morning. Then we've got the 100 board, but more likely the tarmac strip. That is your brake marker. You can brake rather late for this corner. You're coming uphill and the gravity is helping to get the car slowed down as well. Now we're coming up the hill, and on this first lap I am going to mess this up, but I will try to explain anyway. Sort of around here I start to turn in towards that inside bit, and then I bring the car outwards. I was braking too early, but then I'm turning into that inside banking up to third gear and getting over the hill. That was a clumsy attempt that will improve throughout this time trial. Just flat out through this, upshifting to fourth before entering this small corner section. And here you want to lift sort of at the middle of the tarmac strip, but don't lift completely as I do there, because this car is easily unsettled. If you can lift to something like 50%, and the same goes just before the start of that curb, that will keep the car stable if you can sort of half lift and just keep the car balanced. I'm using the Audi gantry. I'm braking before it, and coming down the hill in this mid-engined short wheelbase car is rather sketchy, so I'm just trying to take it nice and easy, exiting out of the dipper in third gear. And here I'm doing another mistake. That white bit of the wall is usually where you would want to lift off, but I braked instead and unsettled the car. That blue start of the wall is where you want to brake, and you want to exit in third gear, almost ending up in the wall. This was all very clumsy. That will be better, but those are the references. The start of the sign event sign after the 200 board is where I brake. You need to brake short of the 150 board, so that was easier to spot. And now we are coming down towards the final corner, and there we have got the 100 board and the mighty tree there. You can brake slightly after the 100 board, so maybe use the tree instead. And we are just surviving. I'm exiting in second gear this time. You want to exit in third gear. That 236 is slower than I managed on the comfort soft tires last night, so let's just get a move on. We are straight on to the following lap. We are braking at the tarmac strip after the 100 board, exiting in third gear. You can skim the curb on the inside and get a bit more rotation, but it's risky, and if you want to be safe, then just don't touch it, but you want to aim for the inside. And this time it goes a bit better. I'm trying to turn in towards the inside. It's almost like dipping into the carousel at Nürburgring. It's very banked on the inside, so you want to get the car into that bit. And even though it feels like the car is bogging down a bit in third gear coming up the hill, you want third gear. Now we are lifting, but only half lifting, but still I'm almost running wide on the exit. I managed to save that one. And also half lifting there, so I can keep the car balanced and make it point where I wanted to. Now coming down the hill, and I'm trying to downshift, slowly staying in the high gears for as long as possible, up to third gear, and we are already gaining compared to my previous lap, and this time I won't mess it up. I'm lifting around that corner, braking at the start of the blue wall, and using third gear for the exit, almost running into the wall there, but we survived. And I almost forgot to brake here, so I'm really panic downshifting and only just managed to get the car stopped, so definitely lost some time there. But now we're coming down towards the final corner and we are looking for the 100 board and the tree, braking slightly after the 100 board, down to second, but this time up to third gear, and we are getting a much better exit this time. So we are down to a 2:35.138 and we've done 7 minutes and 2 laps of driving. So we are loading the best available Ghost, and since this is early doors, the Ghosts are constantly updating, so you need to back out and load a faster one. And yeah, we made it through turn 1 and we did it slightly better than the Ghost. Now we are coming through turn 2. I think, yeah, I'm just skimming the inside and we are getting a decent exit up the hill. Now let's see if I can get this right. I'm looking for the start of that dark wall, lifting slightly, turning in, and now getting the car slowed down, but up to third gear as early as possible. And this time I didn't get the car turned properly, so I got a bit too close to the wall and lost some speed on the exit. You can see the Ghost is pulling away. But we carry on. Now let's be careful. We are going to lift off at the bottom of the hill where there's most weight on the tires. I end up braking through that corner and lost some time. Now we are half lifting through this corner as well, managed to keep the car within the track, braking just short of the Audi gantry. And yeah, this is a bit awkward. I'm really just crawling my way down the mountain, but the car gets rather sketchy. But we are still alive, didn't hit any walls, lifting off, trying to get the car towards the right hand side, using a bit of second gear, back up to third, careful on the exit, and we managed to not hit the wall on the exit. Now we are getting the car slowed down for the chicane and exiting this one in third gear, of course. And now we are coming down towards the final corner, getting the car rotated so we can get back on the power as early as possible. And we are down to a 2:34.068, so another second of the time. 20 minutes in, it took a few attempts to get that lap, clean lap in. Once again, loaded a fresh and faster Ghost. That wasn't maybe the best turn 1, or maybe it was all right. Braking at the tarmac strip after the 100 board, just skimming the inside curb and getting a bit more rotation, but that is really playing with fire, so be careful with that inside curb. And getting close to the inside wall, going towards the outside and slowing the car down, back up to third gear and up the hill. And we are upshifting to fourth gear before getting through this sort of chicane-like section of corners, but you can just go flat out. Once again, let's try to half lift off the throttle, keep the car balanced. It's really essential that you don't lift off completely, because then the car will get all unsettled, and the same goes for this corner. Now we are staying in a high gear. Actually, I was downshifting a bit too early to third gear, and you can immediately see the car get slightly unsettled, and that wasn't the best exit out of there, because I had to salvage the car before getting back onto the power. How about the exit of Forest Elbow, getting close to the inside wall? Not the best exit. Now coming up towards the chase, braking before the 150 board, just at the start of that sign event board on the wall between the 200 and the 150 board. We made it through there just fine. Now get the car slowed down for the final corner, exiting in third gear. That wasn't maybe fighting the car a tiny bit on the exit, but another second of the time, down to a 2:33.004 after 33 minutes of driving. So we carry on. We have once again refreshed the Ghost, and coming into turn 1, down to second gear, back up to third, aiming towards the inside. There is some camber on the inside you can use, and now getting onto the brakes and seeking towards the inside, just coasting into the corner, but early back onto the power again. And yeah, we are doing all right. You can see the previous lap was really close to my current best time. So if we can stay up on our time on this lap, we will get into the 2:32s, hopefully. We are coming up the hill up to 4th gear before going into this corner section, just staying flat, almost getting a bit too close to the wall and actually losing a bit of time there. Now we are slightly lifting. You can see it's easy to keep the car balanced if you just lift slightly. Don't come abruptly off the power. The car doesn't like that. Now I am staying in the high gears for longer this time, and it is a way to keep the car more balanced. You might also add a bit of throttle while braking. That can straighten out the car as well, but I'm not really good at that, so I'm just staying in the high gears. Now we are exiting once again in 3rd gear. Maybe not the best exit, but at least compared to my previous lap, it was a much better exit. I am clearly up on my time. Now let's just survive the chase. And you can see the Ghost was getting a bit too much on the curb there, for my likings at least. Now for the final corner, and using a bit of second for rotation. That clearly wasn't the best final corner, but we are down to a 2:32.775. And we are getting ready for my final run for this morning. I loaded Key's Ghost. He was P1 in the world at the time, and this is the final run. I'm not going to cut into this lap. I managed to get a good exit out of turn 1 this time, get the car rotated before the corner so I could just get early on the power in 3rd gear, almost gaining a tiny bit on the Ghost down the long straight. And now we are coming up towards the braking zone. We are looking for the 100 board, but braking at the tarmac strip, you can really brake early, and I managed to coast into the corner, get early onto the power. We are still hanging on to the Ghost, and what can I do this time? Getting close to the wall, and as soon as the car moves out towards the outside, getting onto the brakes, turning back towards the inside, want to catch that inside banking, up to 3rd gear up the hill and up to 4th gear before going through this bit. And now we've got the bit over the mountain and lifting off just as the car hits the bottom of that small dip, and lifting off slightly before we get to the curb on the right hand side. And you can see constantly keeping part throttle through that corner, braking just around the Audi gantry, staying in the high gears down to 3rd gear, and now we just need a bit of 2nd gear to get into the dip, and now back up to 3rd gear, and a bit of a slidey exit, so that was not the best. But now we've got forest elbow, and let's try to get a good exit close to the inside wall and up to 3rd gear. And yeah, not the best exit compared to my previous run, but yeah, just about the same. Now we've got the long back straight, and now we will see if we can keep this alive. Now I just need to not mess up the chase, and most of all the final corner. The chase is not that difficult to do. I'm looking for the sign event board between the 200 and the 150 board, down to 3rd gear. Don't go too aggressively on the curb on the left hand side, and we actually get a decent exit out of this one as well. Now we've got the final corner to go just after the 100 board, down to 2nd gear, get the car turned in, back onto the power, slightly missed the inside there, and we are going across the line in a 2:32.151. So a 2:31 should be on the cards if I try this a bit more, but I decided to leave this for now, and then I can always go back and see what I can do. And I could see only 15 minutes after I set that time, Titsney set a 2:30.6, so the times were coming down fast. Yet I hadn't entered this one yet when I left it, but I did have a decent gap to the gold cutoff time, so I should be good for now, but I want to see if I can improve a bit more. I hope you enjoyed this video, found it entertaining and maybe even somewhat useful. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye bye.